Okay, so what we're going to focus on, you guys are getting better at the I-RASP. Every Thursday we read a story, and you guys, the first question that you always do last is the I-RASP question. Now, and you are getting better at it, but I want to give you an example and give you another shot today at doing this so we can really perfect this. And also, you'll always have this video to go back and see if you're doing these things. So I want to point out a couple things. So not that long ago, we read The Big Interview, and the question I asked was, how did you know Charles was nervous? So I'm going to do it with this story, provide you the example with this story, and kind of walk through how this should look. So remember, the focus here is I-RASP. Okay, now here is the question. How does Charles feel about his upcoming interview? Now, you notice, guys, how is the question word. You do not want how in your answer. You don't want it there. So when it comes to the R of RASP, that's restating the question. When you do restate the question, you don't want to use the question word. So leave that out. So let's look over here how I answered this, how I handled the R of I-RASP. So let's look at the very first sentence here. This is where I have restated the question. Okay? I believe Charles feels very nervous about his upcoming interview. Now notice something. I restated this question and I try to use as many words as I can. So I believe Charles feels, and then very nervous about his upcoming interview. So I use all these words right here, every one of them. Keep in mind, I left out the question word, but I did use all of these. Okay? So this would be a good way to restate the question. Now, if you notice, I actually did answer it too. I said, I believe Charles feels very nervous. So I did answer it. Now, that brings us to the S, the support, which is honestly, that's the biggest part. So let's look at that. This is what I want to really focus in on. So here's where I started supporting the answer. In paragraph 1, the text states, Charles' palms were very sweaty and his face felt hot. Now I want you to notice a couple things. First of all, I said in paragraph 1, the text states. So I said exactly where it is, which you don't always have to, but it's nice. And I said the text states. This makes you sound really smart when you use phrases like this. Then, if you notice, there's a comma here. I put that comma there because then I take directly from the story, Charles' palms were sweaty and his face felt hot. And because I took it directly from the story, guys, I had quotations right here. I put it in quotes, which you guys need to start doing. Some of you are doing it, but not all of you. And if you take it directly from the story, you've got to put quotes around it. Okay? I said it's in paragraph 1. The text states, this is exactly what it said. So if I go over here, it says right here, Charles' palms, let me get the underlined thing here. This is where I got it. Charles' palms were sweaty and his face felt hot. So I used that in my answer. But I had to put it in quotations because I took it directly from there. Okay. Now, I didn't feel like that was the only the only support I needed. So I added something else. Now look how I did this next piece of support. This made me believe I'm sorry. This is where I actually put it into my own words as to why I chose that support. I said, this made me believe he was nervous because this is a natural physical reaction to being nervous. So guys, I added to that. I said, I think he's nervous. I said, because in the story, it says this right here. And the reason why I chose that is right here. I explain why I chose that. And you guys need to start explaining why you are choosing whatever it is you choose. Now, I also add this. Later in the story, when the girl asked Charles if he was nervous, Charles stammered when he answered her. Now, I want to point out I used the word stammered in quotations because I wanted that to stand out. Now, here's where I got this. When you go back to the story, okay, it says, right here is where I got this. The girl, she's, are you nervous? She asked. And it says, no, I'm not nervous at all. Charles stammered. So that word right there told me he was nervous. And that's why I put this here. Okay. Charles stammered when he answered her. Okay. That's another way to do it. I just put that in my own words, which is okay. And then I explained it again. This is another reaction people have when they are nervous. So, guys, when you're doing the RASP, restate it. Try to use as many words from the question as you can, but always leave out the question word. Now, answer it, and then the support piece. Okay? Pull out directly from the story, okay? But just put it in quotes. And then explain why you chose that. Okay? There's a lot of ways you can do this, guys, but this is a great example. So I want you to always refer back to this. Now, when you're done listening to this, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to have you take a look at this story called A Long Day, and I want you to answer the question that I will put on this document for you. Okay? I'm going to put a question here, and you're going to answer it using this story. And I will provide those attachments for you. So as soon as you're done listening to this, go back to this. The question will be on here. And then I will provide this attachment for you to read the story to answer the question. Now, when you answer the question, use this example, okay, to help you. I want this to always help you. All right, remember, start using quotations when you pull it directly from the story. Okay, make yourself sound intelligent by saying the text states. Okay, use commas where they should be. All right, make sure you're doing the little things. Okay,